Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Krista. Here I'm going to show off a game with the newest version of I.L.M.O.S. updated to current format. What better test subject to play it against than the best deck of the format, or the most popular to say. So already you can see the new additions to the deck: 2 Angelis, a Neutral, and a Hoot Cake. And this is the brand new opening first turn that requires a Thrasher and a Angeli. With this, you get 3, 5, 7 cards, and you get a wall that's 2000 that will plus if he lives, and a wall that cannot be destroyed by battle, and if he lives, you get to banish, and then you go either level 4 or level 3 to go into rank 3. So that's a really good first turn that you most likely won't get any life point lost because of this first turn. So it's a good wall. And see, here the opponent summons Mirmelo. I opted to not use Breakthrough Skill on it because Forbidden Lance is pretty much the same thing in stopping her trap that she searches out. And I'd rather get rid of the Bombless earlier than later. And the reason why I also do this is because Breakthrough works on artifacts while Lance does not. So this here, Lance will stop the Mirmelo in like a way, but if he goes into artifact and I've already used save Breakthrough Skill, then Lance won't be able to save my monster from Breakthrough, and from the monster where Breakthrough would have been able to stop it. So here since both monsters lived, I get my Kage, and well, I would have got my Kage if he didn't negate it. And Hoot Cake brings out Levier, which I protect with a Forbidden Lance. So here is the basic basic Madoche play that Madoches are used to, involving Levier and a Tiramisu. This deck goes into Tiramisu a lot easier now, rather than the previous format I.L.M.O.S, because of the new additions of Angeli and level 3s. So basically a deck pretty much plays almost exactly like Madoches, except it doesn't plus off of any Messenger Lottos. Instead, it pluses off the other monsters that revolve around the Madoches. And it loads the graveyard a lot easier because the monsters hit the graveyard rather than go back to the deck. So here the opponent activates Dark Hole and I lose my whole field, which hurts, but also at the same time not really, because most of them already replaced themselves, so I didn't minus too hard off of it. So opponent summons Fire Hand and attacks directly, and already my hand is set up because of Vera Imp to make a Black Shippercorn, which pretty much renders the hand useless. The great thing about this deck too is that most of the entire deck revolves around stopping hands from actually triggering, which is why I don't play Mirror Force or Trench Hole, all that. So here I Breakthrough Skill the Beagle Attack so he doesn't trigger his Moral Attack. I could have also negated the Moral Attack, but I wanted to stop it from there because I was only able to get rid of one monster, and if I didn't get rid of that one monster, and he would have 2 level 5s in the field for a Tears play next turn. So I stopped the Beagle Attack instead of the Moral Attack that he was going to pop with Beagle Attack. So here I would have black shipped him for game, but he top decked the artifact movement and popped his own Moral Attack. So he uses Moral Attack to pop Black Ship. I could have negated it with Breakthrough Skill, but I didn't really need to because it's game anyway. So I just summoned Hanzo, activate Sewer Transformation, brought out White Dragon, and attack directly. If I used Black Ship, it wouldn't be this flashy. This is a lot cooler looking. I already knew what his backer was, so I wasn't afraid of anything. I also could have Cowboyed. Well, yeah, I could have Cowboyed by discarding Redox. That would be also another cool way to win that turn. So here, this game, the opponent goes first, and he sets up Mirmelo and searches out Bombless Trap Hole. Now he sets half of his hand, and I begin fearing for my life. Top deck Mind Control. I summon Mirmelo and add my own Bombless Trap Hole. I debated on whether or not I should activate Mind Control, but if he had an artifact on board, and if I Mind Controlled to overlay with his Mirmelo, if he popped my Mirmelo after I my control his, it would have been off or not. So instead I just opted to double knock, trying to bait out his artifact triggers, but he didn't do it, so instead I just traded off a 1-for-1. He summons Dionia, and I get a little sad. So I drop Max Z to hopefully stop him from going into a rank 4. And he pops the Bottomless. Instead of exceeding, he goes and attacks. I chose not to deprison his Dionia, because I already have Dark Hole, which takes care of it. So I decided to just keep the deprison. So I top deck a Rhoda, and then I search out a Thrasher. Here I try to bait out his back row by using only Thrasher, and so I don't waste normal summon. Attack into his Dionia, and hopefully trigger his artifacts, which he does. So everything went according to plan, because now I push his artifacts from his back row all the way into his front row. So instead of dealing with them later, I pretty much made him waste all of his special tricks, and now everything he has is going to get wiped out by Dark Hole. I don't understand why people don't play Dark Hole anymore, because if you play against artifacts and they push everything up during your turn, just Dark Hole and they basically wasted half their hand, and they're left top decking from there. So the opponent activates Bottomless on my Hanzo by protecting with the Lance, which helps me search my trap card, and now I have my own form of disruption during his turn. So both decks are pretty similar when it comes to disrupting things. He has his artifacts, and I have my Hanzo. He has trap tricks, I have trap tricks. He has his floaters, which is the hands, and I have my floaters, which is the Magdalenes. So both decks are extremely similar. The main big difference is that he doesn't use his extra deck, while I utilize it like crazy, which you can see here. And my deck is a lot flashier and combo wombo. So here I tried to get a Kage to my hand, so I have a backup for Magdalene, but he Nightmare Trap Souls it, so I was pretty sad. But it's better he uses it now, rather than say if I got the Kage and then I use Magdalene Kage, then use rank 4, and then he Nightmares that. So he top decks the Pod Autonomy and then throws 3 monsters back into his deck to draw 2. Very good top deck, which gets him back into the game. So here he draws 2, and then he draws into a Fire Hand. So here I made a huge misplay because I forgot about Autonomy's effect that you cannot attack that turn. That was totally my misplay, and I deserve to get 1600 life loss. So that was a misplay on my part, and I will remember it for the future, but for now this is just a fun game. So he warnings the black ship, so I don't get to black chip his Fire Hand. And he top decks into a Dionia, and he destroys my set Ninjutsu Art, which is dead, so I don't really mind it, but it would suck if I top deck into a Hanzo and my super transformation is not there anymore. So here I'm in a very, very bad position. Attacks directly for 16 and then for 17. So here I'm at 14 when realistically I should have been at 3000. So yeah, but luckily I top decked a Redox. So now I go into my Tiramisu play. So here I discard Angeli and Redox to special summon the Angeli. Then I treat Angeli for a Hoot Cake, which is jelly covered, and he won't be able to touch my life points next turn, assuming that Hoot Cake lives. So going further, I decided to go into the Tiramisu play. And then I have a Tiramisu and a very hard Hoot Cake. Sadly, the opponent has Torrential set, so he wipes out the whole field, and we're both left with nothing. He has the advantage because he gets to draw, gets 1 card up, and attacks directly for a game. Realistically, I should have been at 3000, so I would have been at 16, but I probably would have top decked out of it because I had a Redox and a Graveyard still alive for defense. But I actually like it better this way, because this way we get to go into game 3. I don't like 2-0 games. Like, I don't like to upload 2-0 games. I like to upload 3 games, Because 2-0 games seems kind of lackluster, while 3 games feels complete, you know, like the whole series. So I'm actually kind of glad that I lost that one. Like, I'm really glad I did, because this third game is really, really epic, and we got to experience it. So after the basic first turn play for both sides, he sets whole hand, I get a throw in to get my +1. Back to my turn, I search out for my second Kagotakage. So basically this means that I have access to all my rank 4s whenever I want for the rest of the game, as long as I have a Mageline or any level 4 in my hand. So here I have the wombo combo of Mew and Angeli, which means Levier and Tiramisu at the long run. But I like to hold on to those 2 cards for like a final push, because that basically translates to 4,000 life damage and 2 cards the opponent loses. In order to get to that, I like to waste all the monsters from my hand first to bait out all of his back row, because I'd rather they Warning, Torrential, or Nightmare Trap or Bombless a Hanzo, Murmelo, or a Mageline, or a rank 4, rather than like that wombo combo play. So when I bait out all their back row with the smaller monsters, I go for the final push and then win from there. So luckily I had the Nightmare Trap hole set to stop his Big attack from popping his Moraltox. So I draw, and then I draw into a Murmelo, which I drop Kagotakage to upgrade her into a Dweller. But the opponent has Disruption on his side, so he activates Artifact Sanctum. And I do not have another Nightmare Trap hole set, so he was able to trigger off his Big attacks. And then pops both his Morals, specials in both, and then pops my field. He did smart this way, because I wasn't able to go in the Dweller and chain to his Big attack. But unluckily for him, I already had Dark Hole. So deja vu from the last game, I wipe out his whole field using that Dark Hole after he did his my turn push. So opponent draws and rips into a Murmelo, which my Bombless is completely dead against. I probably wouldn't activate it anyway, unless it was a Fire Hand. But still kind of irks you a little bit when you figure you can't activate your Bombless on a Murmelo. So usually I would summon Mageline and Kagotakage to bait out his back row, but because I drew Lance, I felt really safe, so I went for the wombo combo play. And he Nightmare Trap holes, tries to kill Hootcake, but I had the Lance. So I proceed to go off from here with the basic Madoshe play that you are familiar with the regular Madoshe deck. The only difference is that I don't get the plus off of Messenger Law while doing this, but it doesn't need it, to be honest. All I need is to bounce back 2 cards and attack for 4,000. You don't need to be fancy and add a field spell to get the stuff back to your hand. Sadly, he had a Torrential Tribute, so I wasn't able to go for game that turn. And the opponent draws into Duality, and then picks up the Dictonomy. So here we're both pretty much left top decking, except I have the advantage because I'm going to draw a card, so it'll be my 4 versus his 2. The hard part is he's going to draw into back row, so I'm not sure if my next turn will go off. But the Lord of Yu-Gi-Oh! Has other plans. You will see pretty soon. So opponent debates on how he should set his cards. And, heart of the cards, Break Up Magic, 7th one. So I go into Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. Negate both his back rows, and well, I could attack for game. So here, in this deck, it's really easy to get off his second effect to attack thrice by tributing 2 monsters because of Kagotakage. But since he doesn't have any monsters for me to rape with him, I decided to just go into Crazy Box and just see what would happen. Because I won anyway, so may as well get some laughs from this game. Because, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh's meant to be fun, right? So I lose half my life points and attack directly with Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon for game. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this feature match between I.L.M.O.S and New Meta, and hope you guys enjoy your day. It's Cresta, signing out.